Long training, wasn't it? I finally prepared, and he thought he could get rid of me sending that fox ninja towards me. Little does he knew that he only gave me a warm-up on what is going to happen to him and his team. Now with all that aside, we have the very first review on the channel, and surprisingly, it is on his own film sequel release date. All I can tell you is that you're not gonna go to the cinema right now. Instead, you're gonna go and sit somewhere comfortable, get some snacks, because I'm about to tell you the story of Kil Bill, while I prepare myself to save Waddle Dee. Let's begin. The story begins with a woman who was beaten on her wedding day known as the bride, played by Elle. She is talking to her attacker, who apparently beaten her alongside his friends. The attacker's name is Bill, played by David Carradine, proceeds to shoot her in the head before she could tell him about a child she had, cutting the scene to black. The next scene takes us years later in a neighborhood chronologically after the film's events. The woman inside the house lets her in, and the bride remembers her. As the ironside of Quincy goes place, she remembers she was one of the 5 responsible for attacking her at her wedding. After fighting the woman for a while, the woman's daughter, Nikki, gets inside the house. After the woman tells her to leave, we get some context from all of this by the bride herself. Years ago, Bernita Green, played by Vivica A. Fox, was part of the Deadly Viper Assassins, alongside Bride. She went by the name Copperhead, and Bride by the name Black Mamba. Bernita states to Bride that she changed and now she was retired, but Bride doesn't care because she's still mad about what happened. Then they start planning a fight for later until Bernita tries to kill Bride with a gun, and Bride proceeds to throw a knife straight to her heart. This kills Bernita, but left Nikki with possible trauma. Bride tells her before leaving that it wasn't her intention to do it in front of her, and that if she wanted revenge for what she did, she will be waiting for her. Side note, this was made in case a third Kill Bill was made to be its plot, but it seems that it won't go anywhere, so once she leaves the house, she enters her car, which has a pretty inappropriate name, and scratches Bernita's name from a list she had and leaves. How did Bride regain her revenge, you might be asking? Well, after the attack at the wedding, she was left in the hospital in a coma. This is where a mysterious woman with an eye patch enters Whistling Twisted Nerve and enters her bathroom to prepare a poison to kill Bride, and puts on a not-so-subtle nurse costume to do so as well. Mysterious woman with the eye patch is called Elle Driver, another member of the Deadly Viper Assassins who uses the codename California Mountain Snake, and she's played by Daryl Hannah. She was about to poison her until Bill calls her to quit the plan. Bill wanted to torture her more once she had woke up. Elle is angry, but she obeyed him and left. 4 years later, Bride waked up and realized that her baby was taken away from her. She later went back to sleep after hearing 2 men entering the place. One of the men planned to assault her while she was asleep, worst mistake he ever did. Bride proceeds to kill him, and later kills the nurse when he returns. Well deserved. She then took the keys of his car, his clothes, and a wheelchair to escape from the hospital. But there was one problem. Even though her body was working, her legs were still asleep. She couldn't move her feet to make the car move, so while trying to move her legs, we get to learn about the first person of the Deadly Vipers on her list, Oren Ishii, played by Lucy Liu, and user of the name Cottonmouth, was born in an American military base in Tokyo, half Japanese, half Chinese American. When she was 9, her parents were killed by the most ruthless Yakuza boss of Japan, Boss Matsumoto. When she turned 11, Oren killed Matsumoto, and finally at 20 became the top female assassin in the world, as well as becoming the leader of the biggest Yakuza clan in Japan. After this tale, Bride manages to get her legs working. 13 hours later, took a plane to Okinawa to get a katana from Hanzo Hattori, played by Sonichiba. Hanzo is pretty kind to her, but despite this, Hanzo doesn't want to make katanas anymore. Bride tells him that she wants to use it on one of his old students. Hanzo finally agrees and tells her to stay in the basement where he had katanas on display and prepare for her fight. 1 month later, Hanzo finally has a katana made and gives it to Bride. Son, put the groceries in the buggy as I prepare your belated clothing. You're the best student I ever had in years. You ain't lying. You ain't surpassed that kid with white hair. Don't sleep! Please, no one goes surpass that kid in a long time. Whatever, I'm gonna clean the basement. See you later. Master, may I continue my review on the way? Sure thing. Now this is the part where Bright tells us more about Oren Nishii's criminal clan. This is what I learned. Oren has an army called the Crazy 88. They all wear tuxedos, use katanas and masks, and they're played by the UN Whopping Fight Team. Sophie Fatale was a former protege of Bill, second in charge, BFF, lawyer, and she's played by Julia Dreyfus. Her bodyguard is a little 17-year-old named Go Yugari, who's a crazy assassin and played by Chiaki Kuribama. And finally, Johnny Mo is just the general of the Crazy 88 and played by Gordon Liu. During a meeting, all the Yakuza bosses were cheering Oren's victory as now she was the leader of all Yakuza clans in Tokyo, Japan. All with the exception of boss Tanaka. However, he ended up getting his demise. The bride finally travels to Tokyo and follows Oren's limousine while wearing a yellow biker uniform with a helmet. No one suspected anything. As Oren and her guards enter the House of Blue Leaves, Bride goes to the bathroom to change for her fight and sees Sophie on there talking on the phone. Meanwhile, the Crazy 88 were mocking a guy who looked kinda like Charlie Brown, I guess. Bride calls Oren as she proceeds to get out of the room to see what is happening. Bride has Sophie hostage and proceeds to stare deeply into Oren's eyes once she appeared. Her eyes were really in anger. There were memories, the dead ride a horse team with the slow appearance of the Iron Side, all climax to Sophie losing her arm. Master, who did this to you? Everyone terrified left the Blue Leaves house. Oren sends some of her henchmen to fight Bride, but they're easily taken down. Later, Gogo is sent to fight and almost manages to kill Bride, but she manages to take down Gogo by knocking on wood. Literally. Now this is the moment you will think Oren and Bride will have a brawl, right? You were wrong. Johnny Mo and the Crazy 88 appear to fight. This is where the best fighting sequence I had ever seen appears, and you saw what happened here, didn't you? What? The fact you killed the Crimson Crawl? One of the greatest deeds according to Wolf? Yes. It seems that anything can happen now. I didn't know the talking animals could be killed. Didn't you? I didn't. But now I learned something new. I'll go clean up this mess, and then go to meditate for a while. Nah, don't worry. Let me clean this. Also, let me say how the movie ends. Well, once the bride killed Oren Ishii, she left Sophie at the hospital, in where Bill and she had a conversation, and Bill revealed to all of us that Bride's daughter is still alive. Revealed that the wedding was actually a practice and not an official wedding. When Bride went to take some air, she saw Bill playing a flute. He appeared to congratulate Bride on her wedding, but by the way they were talking, it seemed that Bill loved her once. Bride is now on her mission to kill Bud, also known as the Sidewinder. Bud, played by Michael Madsen, was aware of Bride's revenge, and even though he agreed on her reasons, he wasn't going to let her kill him easily. So, when she opened the door of his RV, he immediately shot her with salt and proceeded to bury her body on a graveyard. While Bride was trying to get out, we get some flashbacks. One in where we see that Bill and Bride are at a fireplace talking about the legend of Pai Mei, and the other one that shows us Bride's training with Pai Mei. Pai Mei is a really cool teacher on his methods, but despite this, Bride survived and learned a lot from him. And that learning she got was the one that helped her get away from that graveyard. Meanwhile, at Bud's trailer, Elle Driver was already there with Bud to give him his award. However, it was a trap and she ended up killing him with a snake. Elle was going to leave, however, during a call she had with Bill, he finally get to know what Bright's real name is. And her real name is Beatrix Kilo. Elle was about to leave, and that's where Beatrix appears to fight her. They fight for a while and even use katanas at one point. Beatrix knew the only way to win was to do something I made it to Elle a long time ago, and that is... Beatrix may not kill Elle, according to the director of this film. But let's be honest, Elle wished she was dead. She lost her only eye, she was in the middle of the desert with no way of calling someone for help, and had a poisonous snake with her. She was probably in a situation worse than death. Elle is lucky Beatrix didn't kill her, but was unlucky to lose her sight. Hello, license and registration, please. Urufu-san! Anata to watashi ni amika no shigoto garu! After escaping, Beatrix had to find Bill with the help of a father figure Bill had named Esteban Biayo, who gave her his location. It was kind of him to offer her a map, but that doesn't forgive the fact he had some criminal backstory I will better skip on. Beatrix entered the hotel Bill was with a gun and a katana ready to kill him, but it turns out he was taking care of Bibi, Beatrix's daughter that I thought she died, but it turns out she was alive. So, Wolf, any more bad guys for me to kill? You gotta be kidding me. Didn't you think it was going to be this easy? Luckily, Bibi seems to be aware that Beatrix is her mother, and Bill lets her have some time with her before sending her to sleep. Bill shot Beatrix in the leg with true serum to get to know why she left him, and Beatrix explains the truth. When she discovered she was pregnant, it was on an unsafe moment during a mission on a hotel, and she realized that she couldn't be an assassin anymore if she had a child with her. It was a huge responsibility. They both sit on the table to continue a conversation, and then proceed to start fighting with katanas. This gets tenser, and guess it's just you and me now. And the lipstick? You stole Beatrix's blade, I stole Ren's. To make it fair. Koreo kipari, owaii naseyo, haudodoko. Any last words? You know this video was released the same time as my sequel. Why do you did this? Coincidence, but also because I outgrew you all. I don't need Disney or DreamWorks films anymore. I have all films and TV shows to enjoy. Please tell me how that story ends. But before he could finish her, Beatrix gives him the 5-point palm exploding heart technique on his chest. This manages to finish Bill off, not before he gave her a final goodbye and fall to the ground. Beatrix takes her daughter and leaves the hotel. She left the assassin life alongside its violent life to live in peace and quiet with her daughter Bibi. Thanks. That's a pretty nice tale. I don't care if her movie flops or not. All I care is that I enjoy my movies from the past and share that love with others without being afraid of the future. Guess my future isn't a concern for you anymore. Exactly. Enjoy your trip. Waddle Dee! This was the best movie I had ever seen. Not only did the acting was convincing, the violence and action scenes were all well made. I also loved the usage of animation on Oren's past in the first film. I hope they never make Kil Bill Volume 3 because the 2 volumes were already perfect on their own, and a third part could ruin the ending the crew had to work so hard on. The music was also great too, especially Malabuena Salerosa at the ending. The ending was the best part, showing all the actors involved in both volumes. I'm glad these 2 films got into my life, although technically there are 1 actually. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Hope you all have a great day and go watch the 2 volumes by yourselves right now. There must be a streaming service somewhere that has these amazing films to see.